I'm here with Gregory Shaw, Guyana, one of the main influencers in business, all right? Business education, business tips, tricks, whatever the case may be. He's here for a short time, and I just said, let me do a little 10 questions with Gregory Shaw. Thank you so much for reaching out.
Welcome, no problem.
All right, I'm glad. How was the food?
The food is amazing. We're in Nars, by the way, in Canopia. Y'all come and try them. Try them. Guyanese, try and Nars.
So this whole little podcast we're doing, I want to make it strictly valuable to you guys. It's going to be strategy session, and it's going to be something where it's going to be he's going to be sharing his business experience, and we're going to put our heads together, and help solve some problems. So I have some questions for him that will surely benefit every business that's watching this.
Let's hope I could answer them.
Don't worry yourself. So, what really inspired you to start sharing business advice on TikTok?
Where I came from a background of poverty.
Yeah.
I came from a background where a lot of people had the know-how, but they refused to share it with me. So I had to go to the school of hard knocks as in college.
Yeah.
And I purpose in my heart that when I make it and when I discover things, I will bring people out with me. I don't want to come out myself. I want to bring them out from poverty, bring them out from that place of lack of knowledge, bring them out from that place of I don't know how to do this.
Right.
So I had blood, sweat, and tears to be where I am right now.
Right.
And I want to bring people with me
Yeah.
without any holdback.
And we were talking about that earlier about, brands and companies just need to do that goodwill content because it builds that trust, it builds that relation, and that transparency. So that's something that's really, really good on your part. What do you think are some of the most common challenges small business owners face today? Like, what you see is like, some of the mistakes you really see small business owners making that they need to avoid.
The first mistake they make is not believing in themselves. Believing that they're too small to make a difference. My company started as a micro business, small. But my vision was always big.
Right.
And so even though we started small, I didn't make the mistake of thinking small. You will remain as large or as small as you can think.
Exactly.
So that's a big mistake. A lot of them say, I'm a small business, a side hustle. I can leave the big money to the big boys.
Yeah.
No, you want to play big? Think big. So that's the first mistake. The second mistake is marketing. They stay in a corner, they don't want to invest money in marketing. And right now in our hemisphere, the Caribbean, Facebook marketing is very cheap as compared to New York.
Oh yes.
So
Yes.
I just ran an ad, $50. I tell you I'm a business. $50. And I made over $2,000 from a $50 promotion. And that ad run for like 2 weeks.
I just want to pause there. This is something also as well in my Facebook ads workshop that I teach. What people don't understand, a lot of the content you see on YouTube is catered for the US audience.
Right.
One of my friends in the US, when he was running ads and he was sharing some experiences, and I said like, no, my acquisition cost is like 25 and 30 cents.
Right.
Per lead. He's like, what? He's like, in the US, it's 3 and 4 US for one.
Yep.
And this is already algorithm for the Caribbean. Ads are so cheap for us.
Right.
It's really, really cheap. So there's no excuse when it comes to a simple thing, as you said, is having a marketing budget.
Right.
A lot of small businesses don't have that.
Yeah. And it comes from small thinking.
Yeah.
Because they think budgeting is for the bigger companies. So I'm just gonna run this business and wherever it goes, it goes.
Yeah.
And if you have no intention for your business, then it has no direction and it'll go nowhere.
Yeah.
So marketing is very, very key.
Yeah. Understanding, how much it is to acquire a customer, what's the profit, the lifetime value of the customer, and all these sorts of things. How important it is for social media for a small business to grow?
Well, I mean, everything's on social media. We were just talking before this interview about the era of television and radio being almost over. I don't want to say over.
Yeah.
Social media is where everyone is at. Every day, people have their phones. They're in a meeting, they're scrolling. I was just at a funeral and I'm checking out social media feeds. So you need to be where your customer is looking. And your customers are looking at their social media. They're on Facebook, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram. They're checking out what's going on there. And if your ads pop up based upon what because I know they Facebook is listening. And I think this is a conspiracy theory. You could edit it out. I think they already know we're thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Because I would think something, not say it, and an ad will pop up for what I'm thinking. And it freaks me out every single time. So you need to
It
be on
happens.
social media. People need to see your
We,
brand.
my wife and I, we were talking about, we were just verbally having this conversation of like a mop. It was this mop on Amazon,
Right.
the automated mops, and that was it. You go on, hey, a robo vacuum mop with built. It's
Right,
like
right, yeah.
this is crazy. This is crazy. Um, this is a real important one, and a lot of small business owners, they have this fear. How can small business owners differentiate themselves in a crowded market?
That's a simple one and a hard one.
Yeah.
Your business is you. You are your business. You're the face of your business. I have Shaw's Media. Shaw's Media is Gregory Shaw. What differentiates us is my character. I train myself in my values, in my character, in my way of speaking, my way of doing things. So there are 100 sign companies out there, but there's only one Gregory Shaw. If you let your character emanate through your business, you're going to separate yourself from that niche of people who want your way of doing business.
Yeah.
Everyone does it differently. Differentiate your character and let it flow through your business.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. Gregory has a couple of Airbnbs, and one of the I recently early in the year in Guyana, I actually stayed at one of his Airbnbs. Now, the next thing I'm gonna talk about that I want you to expand upon, and I know in recent events this was a major part. What Gregory did very well, and business owners should do, is focus on the customer experience. And I think this definitely will make you as a business owner different, because business owners would say, hey, you know what? And they might have more expensive, but hear what? Gregory accommodate me any night.
Right.
If I call Gregory now, he go thing. So I want to expand a little more on how important customer experiences is not only customer service,
Right.
the customer's experience when they walk through the door, when they do all these things.
Right.
I want to hear a little more on your perspective with that.
We are emotional beings. Human beings are emotional. We're not robots. And your emotions gravitate to being appreciated. So I am not just selling you an Airbnb. I am not just doing a sign. I want you to understand that I appreciate you choosing me out of the multitude of apartments you could have gone to, out of the multitude of signs you could have taken, you came to me. And I want to take care of you because of that. When you take care of people, they come back for that care.
Yeah.
We gravitate to care because we're emotional again.
Yeah.
So I remember staying at Greg's apartment. That guy called me in the middle of the night to find out how I was. Your water stopped working middle of the night because these things happen. That guy left his house. He came over with a bucket. One time there was a prolonged blackout. I got buckets of my guests. I filled it with water. I took it into their bathroom for them.
Yeah.
Going above and beyond and treating them like you would want to be treated is what gives you the advantage.
And the thing is, if you realize it doesn't cost anything.
Exactly.
It doesn't cost. Like I remember when I was there, you randomly called me and it was just like, hey, you're good? You need water, you need sheets, you need towels, you need this wash, you need that wash. And it was just like, hey, just hearing it was just like, hey, wait. You know, and whether I said yes or no, it didn't cost you anything to do that.
And I learned that from a super host in Atlanta. And that blew my mind. This was a stranger. I just chose his Airbnb out of the blue. It was at a sign expo. This guy picked me up from the airport because I couldn't find the directions to his place. When I went there, I got a flu. The guy went and got me tea from the supermarket. He got me meds. And I'm like, do I need to pay you for these things? He's like, no, I just want to make sure you're good in my apartment. When I came back to Guyana, I'm like, I want to replicate that. Because if I'm ever in Atlanta again, I'm staying at that Airbnb. Because of the care.
Yeah. What role does customer feedback play in the growth of a business?
Well, I'm in the middle of a big controversy in Guyana right now with a high-end restaurant. I won't call the name. But customer feedback is what keeps us in line. And you need to have avenues so your customer can actually give you the feedback, whether it's a feedback form, whether it's following through. My company is now being ISO certified. And part of ISO certification is customer feedback. Randomly calling a customer saying, hey, how was that transaction with such and such? What can we do better? Because many customers will not give you feedback. They will just go somewhere
Yeah.
else. So you have to solicit that feedback, show them that you care again, so that they will say, wow, you know what, I wasn't totally pleased, but they reached out to me without me reaching out to them. I aired my concern, and they gave me some satisfaction. Give away some free stuff, not because they complained, but because you were
Yeah.
following up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very important.
Um, and I think too, it's crucial. And I know some people they might not have the knowledge and know how customers don't really know how to really is the way how you say it.
Right.
You know, so it might even though it might come off as a criticism, and you might think, all right, well, it tends to get a little personal. At the end of the day, you need to take emotions out of it and understand, okay, this person said this thing didn't really taste good, or this person said, you know what, we didn't like the quality of how this
Right.
was.
I was listening to this. One of my mentors, he don't even know me, is this guy from South Africa. His name is Vusi.
Yeah, Vusi's actually coming to Trinidad in September.
Shut the front door. I'll
I
be
tell
here.
it,
Okay,
yeah. Well,
I need to register
all
for
right,
that.
we come as soon as I
need
take
to
it.
register
As
for that.
soon he posted on his page, he's coming
Are
to
you
Trinidad.
serious?
I'm telling you, he posted on his page.
Shops by.
So clear out September. As
Listen to
soon as
this.
ticket.
So I was listening to Vusi, and he was saying this: do you want emotions or do you want progress? You can't have them both.
Right.
And that floored me.
Yeah.
I replayed that one statement maybe 100 times, exaggerating for effect. And then he went to explain. He said the first thing you want to do is be emotional. So feedback, to criticism. Your emotion kicks in. You want to be defensive. But if you want progress, you have to let go of that emotion, take it for what it is, and make the necessary change.
Yeah.
So you either have emotions or progress. You can't have them both. Thank you, Vusi. I'll be here in Trinidad.
I have a little more technical question for the more existing business owners,
All right.
and it's something we all face. How, and I don't know, I saw you commented on the creator's video where she was explaining that she did work for somebody and up to now she didn't get paid, right? My question to you is, as I say, it's a little more technical. How do you deal with the bigger corporate companies? So a small business, okay, we now start. We reach a medium pace where, you know what, we're doing work for the
Right.
bigger companies, right? How do we deal with that cash flow and that waiting for payment vibes? By at the same time, I mean, we had to respect the policy that
Right.
some companies have,
Right.
but you know, they might be pending payments, and then you have they asking for more work.
Right. Of
Explain
course. So,
explain that. How,
My company works in the oil and gas industry.
Right.
Oil and gas industry has 45 days, 60 days, and sometimes 90 days to pay you.
right.
I always say when I was small, save for where you want to be. So instead of spending a lot in my early days, I was saving up so I can have a cash base to fund bigger projects. As I said earlier, you think how large you want to be and you put actions in place. So instead of spending while in expansion, I was saving a big portion as reserve capital. So now when I have a project that's going to pay me in 90 days, I have enough cash base to keep me flowing. The other thing I did was separate my business. So I did things that were quick wins. So while I'm dealing with the bigger customers, I still have smaller, we call it retail, smaller
Right.
daily income coming in.
Right.
And that smaller daily income adds up, pays the bill, pays the
Yeah.
staff, and keeps us floating until the big payments come in. The other thing is the banks are there. So we have a overdraft with the bank.
Right.
So once you keep proper financials in place, you can go to the bank and say, hey, I need a 3 million overdraft. And you draw it down, you pay it back. You draw it
Yeah,
down or a
yeah,
revolving loan. And then bringing on investors. So
Right.
if you have a big project, take that purchase order to someone who has money to finance that one-off thing. I say, hey, look, this is a surefire deal. Would you invest 3 million with me? For 3 months, I'll give you back 3.5 million. And in that way, you're able to do the project. You might not make the most income from it, but you're still satisfying that customer. And then again, you're saving up again
Right.
for the bigger projects.
We spoke about this off camera, and I'm gonna structure this question with a little scenario. So we have a lot of small business owners. Again, they're up and coming, and a couple of things happen where when they see a lot of work coming in, they tend to price themselves low to get the job and get in. How does a business really how should they really price themselves and know the value? Aside from knowing the value, how do they gain that confidence to say, here's what, well, you know what, I need to charge a little more, but they're afraid that if they charge more, they scare off the person because they know the corporate is price shopping.
Right. They need to know what they bring to the table. For example, the only way I can answer that is giving you an example. I am one of the only sign companies that can deliver a last minute project and still maintain quality.
Right.
That's what I bring to the table.
Speed.
But it costs me more to do that. So when another sign company might charge $10 for this and I'm charging $20 for it, I know that my customer would not be scared away because they really need it.
Yeah.
So I am fulfilling that niche of saying, I'll get it done for you, but this is my price. And if you want me to skimp on the price, I can't do it because it will cost me too much. I'll be working for free.
Yeah.
So the mistake a lot of people make, they don't know what's the cost of their service.
No,
they don't know what's the cost. My operational cost, my cost of acquiring a customer, my cost of my staff for that time, overtime, meal allowance, transportation. You have to calculate all of that, factor in that cost, and then put your markup on top of it. And that's where a lot
Because
of people are.
a lot of business owners think that when you get a profit, it's two things you either do with the profit. Well, two or three things. The first thing is either put it back into the business.
Right.
The second thing is you save it.
Right.
Or you invest it.
Right.
Right? And then I've even heard some business owners, when they charge labor on a job, there's like, oh, that is more profit. No, labor is not profit. Labor is a cost for your time. And so, you guys really need to, when you look at the costing, because just to add on the value that, as you know, I told you before, not many people know this. I was in the printing and sign industry as well for about 15 years. And I remember my uncle, he had some sublimation mugs.
Right.
And I actually did this video, told this story in your apartment. I have a video of it on TikTok.
I need to find that video.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. But basically what it was the cost of the mug was $15. And the competitor was selling same $15. But what I ended up doing was cold call all the printing companies. And I called them and was like, hey, so, I have these mugs wholesale. They asking how much. They were like, I told them it's like $15, but what's the difference between you and now that the other guy? And I told them basically, I said, here's what. I will deliver to you Monday to Sunday, anytime, any day, because I know you have last minute jobs to do for customers. So I said, and I didn't even close the deal on the phone. I just said, that was it. I said,
left it in their mind.
Yeah, I left it in their mind. And it was like a week after the calls came in on a Saturday, on a Friday, on a 5 in the evening, 6 in the evening. I say, here, hey, give me a 3 case now.
Right.
Because once you paint the pain point for the customer, money is not an issue.
There you go, value proposition.
Yeah, the value proposition for your business is not an issue. Which brings me to I lose track of how much questions I'm supposed to ask because I randomly pulled it here. Something very important, and then we wrap up because I know you have something to go to. 2 more questions. How do you say no to work?
That's a very, very tough question. Saying no has to do with your parameters that you've set for yourself, your 4 values and your business parameters. You have to know when you're tapped out or you're maxed out. You also have to know who you have around you. There's a story in the Bible where these people were pulling up fish and their net begins to break with too much fish. And what they call the other boats around them to help them pull up the fish.
Right.
So I'm going to answer the question in the opposite way. Try your best not to say no, because you have partners that you can join venture with for a specific project. So for example, if I have a project that's too big for my sign company, I have 3 other sign companies that are aligned with my company. I say, yo bro, come, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, you're gonna do that. I'm still making a profit, but I am outsourcing it and all of us are benefiting. But you also have to know you're tapped out. And literally say, listen, you need this thing in 24 hours. I already know my parameters, I already know my partners, and we can't get it done. Instead of tarnishing my character and trying to do it, I have to tell you no. If it goes against my core values, and a lot of people set business without setting core values. If something goes against your core values, say no to it. It's not worth damaging your value and your character in the pursuit of money. So that's one of my guiding principles. And thirdly, goes back to that, is if that customer becomes disrespectful to me, I don't care if it's millions.
Yeah.
It's a no for me because I value respect more than I value money.
I think even before when you're having meetings, you could gauge when a customer is going to be a headache.
Right.
And if you know, yes, the money might be in front of you, but I think you have to know your mental capacity and your mental state.
But this is a bonus, and it could be a backlash to me, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it anyways.
Yeah.
We have something called the stress tax. So if I know a customer is gonna stress me out, I add on a 10 to 15 or 20% stress tax on that because at the end of the day, you're gonna compensate me for stressing me the hell out.
This is what they don't teach you in school, any financial
Right.
institution, any financial
But
literacy.
disclaimer, none of my customers that I currently have stress me out.
Watch me. I want this moment to be very monumental. When you are writing your book, dedicate a chapter or a section. We're marking this date down. I want to see the chapter stress tax. That'll be amazing.
Right? Yeah.
Right? When you're writing your book, one of these days when you catch it, you'll be like, yeah.
Good.
Last question. What advice, final advice you have for business owners who they want to start, they're fearful, and they don't know what to do? I mean, we're dealing with the major thing of inflation because whether you have a low income salary, high income salary, the economy, we can't wait on governments, we can't wait on people. How do business owners move forward when they're stressed out, when they're challenged and all these sorts of things? What advice you have for business owners who they're losing hope and they need to come back up to breathe?
Losing hope is part of the game. You have to lose hope to rediscover yourself. And always know when you have to retreat. Always know when you have to take a break. Because when you're losing hope means you've lost hope in your vision. That's the only time you lose hope, when you lose hope in yourself. Because I can lose all my customers, but if I don't lose hope in my vision, means I'm gonna push through that time. For example, I'll give an example as a creator. I mean, a month ago, I was posting videos and they're getting 200 views, 100 views. I don't know if I was shadow banned or what.
Yeah.
This thing messed with me mentally. Like, what's going? I'm trying to make interactive content.
Yeah.
3 comments only. I said nah. I'm literally saying, you know what? Like maybe I can't understand this, but guess what? I keep pushing through. I made my videos irrespective of 200 or 100 or 2 views.
Yeah.
I was popping my videos out.
Yeah.
And gradually 200 came back to 300 to 1,000 to 100,000 to 200,000 views. So you always have to keep hope in you. Don't let your hope be founded in someone else. Happiness versus joy. That's that cliche that people talk about. Happiness is based on happenings. Joy comes from within. So I'm not going to put my hope in customers. I'm going to put my hope in me. And that keeps me pushing. But you asked a question before about people who are afraid to take the leap. You don't always have to take the leap. There's a saying that says life begins when you take the leap. But sometimes you can dip your toe in the water. Dipping your toe in the water is your side hustle. Start your side hustle until it becomes your main hustle. So you can resign from your job and focus on that main hustle.
Yeah. I fully agree with everything, and I think it's something where they need because sometimes a business owner might start something, they're passionate about it, 3-4 months in, a lot of sales, and then you come to this dip and you start to blame yourself. You say, what's going on? People in buying the market bad. It's not that. It's one of my the person who I follow online is Alex Hormozy, right? Bought all his books, listened to what he said, and one of the things he said was, listen, you just need to stop and see what's going on and just make it better. Because I will end with this and give credit to my wife Siddiqa, because when I was at my low point recently, 2 weeks ago, she gave me this perspective. So she said, if you're a business owner and you hire a marketing company, right, and you pay them a certain amount of money, the purpose and for them to bring you in business, etc., right? And then at the end of the month, when you check it, you pay them all this money and they're not bringing anything. Who do you blame? You blame the marketing company, right? Small business owners, we're the boss, CEO, marketing, delivery, sales, and everything. So who do we blame? We blame ourselves because we're in control. It's all about us. So we need to, as I say, separate ourselves and say, okay, how do we solve this from going from here to moving forward?
Don't take it emotional.
Yeah, you can't take it emotionally.
Business is black and white.
Yeah, business is black and white. Gregory, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate this very, very much with your time. It is very, very short. I just get a message this week voice. Yeah, I come in.
And FYI, this is my first podcast interview style ever in my life.
Yes.
So it happens here.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen more, but this is first.
And yeah, this is my first. I just started my YouTube channel, and I told myself, I was like, yeah, this is good timing. Gregory is the first person for the podcast, so I appreciate it very much. I should be coming to Guyana later in the year. We'll definitely meet up.
Perfect.
When is your new Airbnb is gonna finish?
It's ongoing.
Ongoing, yeah.
It's ongoing. I'm always building.
Yeah. So you guys could check him out. He has his Airbnbs, his tiny apartments, sign company, everything. Call him for the speaking. Agriculture. When you're calling him to speak, you dare. Yes. Gregory, thank you so much. Have a safe flight. I appreciate it very much.
Cool.
Take it easy.